Welcome back to another video, everyone. This is Anthony with AnthonyAwaken.com and Awaken Outdoors, and I'm out here in some of my all-time favorite weather. I absolutely love it when it snows and it's nice and cold out here, and I can just get out and not overheat and be able to pack some fun gear along. So that is what we're talking about today. We are talking about my winter kit. So right off the bat, this is not a winter survival kit. This isn't an emergency kit or whatever. Like, this has a lot of full-size gear, luxury gear, and so I guess we could say that this is more of a winter camping bag that, yes, can be used in the event of emergency here in the cold weather. So the kit itself is built around the Mystery Ranch Radix 31. Don't know if that's the right pronunciation of this bag name, but the Mystery Ranch Radix 31 is the bag of choice here in the wintertime. I've had this particular bag, and I'll kind of turn it around here while we're talking. I've had this bag for about a year now, and as you can tell, it has a Rockstar suspension system here, a really good hip belt back or down here. Really does a good job of taking the weight off of your shoulders and moving it here onto the hips. And also, this hip belt does have some pockets here, so you can shove your cell phone down in here, or earbuds, trail snacks, whatever you like. And then up in here, I've got the small medium, just because that was the recommended size for me, but you can get a large, extra large too if you need that. On this suspension system, this plate right here, you just kind of break the hook and loop down in here, and you can move it up and down to fit your torso size. It also has load lifters right up here, and those do a really good job of cinching this bag up closer to your body. So that's kind of the suspension system. Let's go ahead, we'll move into the sides, and we will also be talking about my full, let me get down here in the frame. We will be talking about my full loadout today as well, so just kind of stay tuned as we are moving through this bag. On the sides, we do have two large size pockets, so this will fit a full-size Grayl, a Nalgene bottle, anything like that. You can also fit your nesting cups down there if you would like. Over here, we have another side pocket. We'll dive into the details of this here in just a moment. And then right up here in the front, this is probably one of my favorite features of the exterior part of this bag. And yes, I really like the pocket, but I also love these compression straps. So these compression straps not only do a good job of just compressing the whole pack down, but let's say that I didn't want to wear my outer layer here anymore. I could easily just put it right here on the front, cinch this thing down, especially if I've got like a wool anorak, something really heavy and bulky that won't really compress down into the inside, then I can strap it to the outside. So I really dig that. There's also a few little attachment points, which I've got some carabiners and whatnot on. But let's go ahead, we'll knock out some of what I'm carrying on the outside. So right up here in the front is an insulated ground pad. This one is a Climate Static V, and that one is insulated, like I said. Then right in here, let's go ahead, I'll show you all what is on these carabiners real quick, and I'll come close. That way you all don't just have to take my word for it, you all can actually see it. So I keep just some insulated leather gloves. These are from Cabela's, and I bought these back in 2018, I want to say. And these have worked out really well. Back then, I put the little brass grommet in there with just a little grommet maker off of Amazon, and it has held up ever since. And then I always use Night Eyes number 4 carabiners. That is my favorite carabiner size. So those work out really well. Next up, now this does come from my survival background training. Let me see, there we go. Just a 1-inch roll of Gorilla Tape. So we always say in the Appalachian Mountains, if it can't be fixed with duct tape, or in this case, Gorilla Tape, it can't be fixed. So this is a really good repair item, but you can also rip this up into little strands, hit it with ferro rod or a lighter, and it is a great wet weather tinder. This is all hanging off of a Night Eyes number 4 carabiner yet again. And then this right here is just some blaze orange paracord, about 10 feet. This one serves a variety of purposes around camp, so I always keep that around. And then I have fastened some toggles and a couple of Prusik loops on here. That's probably not showing up too well. The sun's kind of in that direction, but this is kind of the way I had to set the camera up. But anyways, just a little bit of paracord right there. Next up, let me get these attached, that way we don't lose anything while we're out here. Next up, I have my Grayl titanium geopress out with me today. Love the titanium geopress. The only problem about this, and let me move back here and I'll talk for just a minute. The only negative about this in this kind of weather right here is that this can freeze. So take some precaution. If you are out here camping with this, or you're going to be out here overnight, or it's just really frigid, make sure that you keep this thing close to your body. So, you know, in your jacket, in your sleeping bag, which we'll get to here in a minute, make sure that you keep this nice and handy. You could also put some hot hands near it, and that would keep the filter, or the purifier cartridge rather, from freezing. But I really like this one because I can fill the outer cartridge, press it, and then drink right away. I mean, it's like 30 seconds between the moment that you fill it and actually drinking. So that sure beats having to boil water, let it cool down and all that. But you do run that risk of your purifier cartridge freezing. So be careful with that if you're gonna choose this as your water bottle and your means of purifying that water. Next up, and on that note about maybe alternatives to a Grayl, I have like a big wide mouth bottle. It's like a 32 or a 40 ounce. I rock those every now and then, and I'm messing around with Nalgene's again. And something that you can do with Nalgene's, or any bottle rather, get you a stick that's kind of up high, that something's not peed or, you know, took a poop on or something, and you can get a live green stick and pop that thing down in your bottle, and just that agitation of that stick going back and forth will keep your water as a liquid and keep it from freezing. So that's just a little hack. If you get out there and you're hiking and you're like, oh man, my water's freezing up, put a little green stick down in there. Make sure it's not like a toxic or a poisonous tree, and you're good to go. Next up, this is a pouch from Tough Possum Gear. Let me get close real quick to you guys. Really like Jayberry over at Tough Possum Gear's pouches, and this one just happens to be blaze orange. So as I always like to demonstrate, where's the pouch? And it's probably hidden in a shadow right now, my luck. But we're gonna pretend it's not. I can find my pouch anywhere because it's blaze orange. Dust that thing off. And also his pouches are pretty good as far as water repellency. I'm sure he wouldn't say that they are waterproof, but they do a good job of repelling water. Now in here, let me just get back just a little bit so I got a little shelf to put my stuff on. This is just kind of a junk drawer of my kit right here. So I have an poop kit. So if you're out here and nature calls, you got some TP and you got some Imodium. Something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it happens, and you'd really be better off packing this instead of having to find some leaves, which I don't see a leaf out here. So you'd be kind of up a creek without a paddle if that happened. Z-Zips, and then let me just show you all this real quick, because these are a couple of the medical pieces that I just keep in here. So this is for lacerations. These are Z-Zips by MyMedic, and then also just some compressed gauze. That's in combination with what I always carry. I have a first aid kit in my pocket. Where's it at? There we go. I was reaching into the divider. I keep a little first aid kit in my pocket, and then I keep a tourniquet in the very top of the bag too. So I keep a few medical supplies in this as well. And then I keep a couple of like hand salves type stuff. So Duke Cannon working hands, and this is by my buddy Jamie Burley. This is for cuts and burns and things like that. It works really, really well. If I remember to bring this out and I get a cut or a burn and I put it on there automatically, it's like instant relief and it heals really nice. Next up, we will discuss kind of knife and knife maintenance. So I always have a big knife on me. And I say a big knife, this is definitely not that big of a knife, but something along these lines right here. And let me see if I can get it to show up. This one is the Gray Bearded Green Beret Jaeger Puko. And this is like a 3 to 4 inch blade. This is kind of my typical, let me get over here without stabbing myself, slipping on snow. So this is kind of my typical size knife in the winter, well, not really winter, but just all around. Sometimes I'll bump up to a 4 or a 5 inch blade, but this right here is a good EDC size, and I like to practice with what I carry rather than, you know, carrying something this size, but, you know, coming out here to practice and carry a 4 or 5 inch. It just doesn't make sense. So I try to just practice with what I carry. Next up, that is more of a heavy duty type knife. That is a very thick blade, very well suited for batoning and, you know, doing all your heavy tasks. But what happens whenever you're just chilling by the campfire at night? You need a little carver. So I keep a little carving knife in here. I've talked about this in past videos, but this is my heavily customized BPS Fin Light. I love, love, love this knife, and I have customized the handle. I've blacked it out right there, if it will show up. Sorry, like I picked the worst area to set up in today for videos, but the stump was there. So anyways, BPS Fin Light, dig this blade. It's like 20 bucks. Now, you'd have to make your own Kydex or find someone that can make it. Again, I went with Blaze Orange. That way, if you sit it down, you can find it. And then next up, I have a full video about leather knife strops. And this one right here is the Beavercraft. Cannot remember the exact model number of this, but just like all this gear, I'll have a link down in the description. This thing is absolutely perfect for keeping this knife and that knife right over there maintenance here in the field. And then I also always have a Wazoo Viking whetstone with me. And yeah, that will serve any of like the major nicks that I get. And then this will just keep everything nice and honed in. Next up, and I won't go too in depth on all this stuff, but again, just for personal hygiene, I have some of these Clean Freak wipes, and these just happen to be in there already. I also have Dude wipes down in the bag. I think I actually got the like Great Value brand one, and they work really well too. Next up is just some cordage, and I'll come in close on this one as well. Right in here, I have just some number 36 bank line, and I have a lot of this in here just because whenever I'm out here, I like tinkering and making little projects. So I've got a lot of number 36 bank line, and then also I think this is called Tactical Paracord by Atwood. This is like a 275 pound breaking strength. So that is the majority of the cordage that I've actually got in here is this right here and bank line. And I've used it for ridge lines, which we'll get into again here in just a moment when we talk shelter. I've used the tactical paracord for that, and it works really well. There's no issues with it. It withstands wind, it doesn't really stretch too much, and then your bank line still grips onto it if you've got like a Prusik loop or whatever that you're doing your toggles and everything with to kind of pull your tarp taut. So that is the little catch-all junk drawer that I was talking about. And then I'm not going to pull out like all of my sleep gear just because it's going to be so time consuming to get it back up, and I'm actually going to be recording a couple of videos, so I want to make sure before the sun sets that I get those videos done for you all. Now we've talked about, again, junk drawer. Now let's discuss And we'll get this back in here. Oh, and actually before I do, I did forget one item over here. And again, safety tethered in, that is kind of the name of the game. I like to safety tether everything in with carabiners and whatnot. This is the OG saw. Before Silkies came along, everyone was packing Bacos. So this one right here is my tried and true Baco Laplander. Really, really love this saw. My wife bought this one for me so many years ago, and I really dig that one. Still holding up very well. And then also just a little bit of blaze orange, and then I've got a little bitty carabiner on there. So we'll just lay this stuff to the side. That way you're not watching me pack a bag the whole time. Now, let's go ahead. We're gonna flip the camera down just a little bit. That way you all can see in the bag just a little bit better. All right, let's go ahead. Let's dig into the inner compartment. So right here, you can zip this thing all the way down and access the full contents of your bag, which is really nice. Let's say that you didn't want to do it that way though. You can absolutely do it through this kind of drawstring closure right up here at the top. So let's go ahead and break this kit down from the top to the bottom, and that will knock out this kit. I always have some sort of shamog or big cloth with me. These work really well for a number of things: a pillow, an extra warming layer, a towel, whatever. And then next up, I like to have some snacks, and I just pretty much always just pack along some beef jerky, some trail mix, and different things along those lines right here. So we'll go ahead, we'll set those to the side, and that'll kind of act as our little base to sit stuff on. And then I always keep a cat tourniquet. These are just my preference. I know how to use these pretty well. And I typically have one with me if it's just me, or if it is a party with me, then I'll pack a couple of these. This is really neat right here. This is by Outdoor Element. And let's see if I can show you all this real quick and it show up well on camera. And I apologize about all the shadows. It's a blazing sun day, and there's a lot of shadows here in the woods. But right here, this one has your little kind of your handles for your spoon, your fork, and then you've got chopsticks, a toothbrush, and then I just put a little travel size thing of toothpaste. And then down in here, I've just got one of the little Outdoor Element, I think it's called the feather knife. I'll show that one to you all real quick. So that little knife right there. Pretty neat little blade. Fits well whenever I'm doing like camp cooking and stuff. And then I've just got some little fire starters down in there as well. So again, like I said, this is more of a camping kit. So I really like to kind of have a few little luxuries like this in there. This is always a lot of fun to pull out at camp whenever we're cooking. And then this right here is my Grayl bottle sling. So I'm sure if you've not already, go and watch this video. And why I went ahead and put this thing in there is, yes, it is a little bit more weight, but this has everything that I need for a scout. So let's say that I've got camp set up right here and I wanted to walk anywhere within like a mile. Then I could have this on me and have basically everything that I need. You know, just throw my saw in my pocket or whatever, and then I have all of my bases covered right here with my bottle sling for just a quick little scout. And then I've kept the pod on there. I've kept the full kit exactly like you would have seen it in that past video. So check that out. Next up are those dude wipes that I was talking about. And yeah, I actually got the name brand this time. Typically, I just go with the off-brand and they're just as good. They must not have had them in stock. So next up, just a little warming layer. This one is by my buddy Creek Stewart. And this is a super, super warm hat. Cool story behind these two. I don't know if he still sells these, but definitely go and check out my buddy Creek. He's doing awesome things. And then this is one of the bulkier pieces of gear that I have in here. This one right here is the Titan Survival Takamo Shelter Tarp Kit. and this thing is absolutely awesome. Inside, you've got all of your tent stakes. I've got my ridgeline. Again, I've just got some of the 275 paracord just because I was trying to keep the weight down on certain things in this kit. And then let me dig out the, let me try to find them, the tent stakes, because I want you all to see these. These are super nice right here. Big fan of these tent stakes right here. These have worked in freezing ground, in ground in the summer when it's just like all mush. These tent stakes have worked really well, and these come with the tarp, which is really nice. In here, I've got a 55-gallon drum liner. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know that I love these. And I actually had to sacrifice my ground pad, or not ground pad, my moisture barrier between the ground and my sleeping pad. So this would kind of have to work if I was stuck out here with that tonight. I used that for my teepee tent, and it got a big rip in it. So that one is no longer useful for this kit, but I will put another ground pad back in here. And then just to show you all real quick, this tarp right here is black on one side and then reflective on the other, and that is really nice for reflecting that heat back down to you, whether you've got a fire out in front of you or if you are just sleeping under it naturally. It kind of gets your body heat right back to you. Really well thought out tie outs. These are heavy duty. So this tarp has been a big winner for me. Sorry for the crumbling. As I'm putting all this stuff back in, we'll get that put in. That way we're not losing anything as we're talking about this kit. There are definitely lighter weight tarps, but here in the winter time, I've really enjoyed this one right here, and the fabric is nice and heavy, so you're not getting wind that is really just like annihilating it or making it flop everywhere. I've not had any wind really get through this either. Just a very, very nice tarp. I like that one a whole lot. And this one is the smaller version. They have a 10 by 10, but I didn't need a 10 by 10 for this. This was plenty for me, whether you're setting it up as a lean-to or a plow point, this will be plenty of cover. Then I have some extra layers, and these right here are from Condor Outdoor. And these are their base 2s. So I've got a couple of, well, not a couple, I've got a top layer and then a bottom layer, and that's what I'm wearing as well. Keep a little dry bag in there, again, blaze orange, just for collecting stuff along the trail, packing trash out, whatever. And then down in here, I'm not gonna pull it out of its stuff sack because this actually isn't even the stuff sack that it came in, but this is a Pariah Outdoor 0 degree thermo down sleeping bag. So this is a goose down bag, and it has worked out famously for multiple winters. I've probably had this thing for 6 years now, and I've winter camped with this a whole lot, and it compacts down pretty small. So really dig that sleeping bag. So that is my sleep system and the rest of my pack. It's pretty simple. Let's go ahead, let's switch this camera around and we'll talk about the rest of this real quick. All right, so that is the full kit and everything that I am carrying in the Mystery Ranch Radix 31. This has me covered for any type of adventure, really. If I'm gonna be out here camping, then I'm gonna be more than cozy and taken care of. I can start a fire, I can, you know, make a shelter and all that good stuff. The only thing that I am missing, like I said, is that ground pad, and not this ground pad, but my ground cover, like a ground cloth. I need to put a new one in there, but I just messed that other one up like 2 days ago. But other than that, you know, I've got some food. I would put like more meals and like, you know, hot chocolate, different hydration multipliers and things like that in my kit if I was gonna be out here long term. And in fact, I do have some hydration multipliers. I keep those, but I would add more just because we're expending so much energy here in the cold that you've got to stay hydrated. So yeah, that's basically the full kit. Really digging the Mystery Ranch Radix 31. It's been a great bag for about a year now and handles this load very well. This is about 25 pounds just for reference. And I mean, it's nothing to carry this. I had it loaded up on a camp out this past weekend at like 40, and now that was way too much weight. But at 25 pounds and even up to 30, it's totally fine. And I would just go ahead and say, and this is something I'm preaching at myself, I have been out of, I hate to say it, out of shape for the past like 3 to 6 months. And if you're going to be carrying a bag like this, you're going to be going out camping, you're going to be doing your thing outdoors, practice with this thing. Take it out on rucks like I'm doing right now. I try to do about a mile and a half every day of rucking, and that keeps me in shape, keeps me knowing that I can carry this pack no matter how far I've got to do it. I can do it for a mile and then take a break. Then I can do it for another mile, whatever. So if you're going to be packing a bag like this, get your time in with it. Learn the suspension system, learn how many pounds you can carry. Again, for me, 25 is about the sweet spot. If I can pack that, I'm more than happy. So that's the full loadout. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Make sure that you cruise down to the description. I've got links to all this stuff. And I also have coupon codes. So like if you like some of this stuff, then most likely if I work with the company, then I have a coupon code with them. That's something that I like to do to pass on to you all. That way you're not having to pay top dollar for everything that you buy, because I know that this gets really expensive really quick. But yeah, I more than appreciate you watching this video. I have enjoyed putting this kit together, and I've enjoyed even more getting out here and using it. And so until the next video, hit that thumbs up button, drop me a comment, subscribe if you'd like to stick around and watch more videos. And until that next video, be blessed.